Hello?
Hi,
Hello.
Billy.
Yes?
We're interviewing today for WOWSA Live. This is going to hundreds of people around the world, so I usually say something like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because we don't know where people are when they pick this up. I'm going to introduce you as Billy Wallace, the guiding light of the Irish Long Distance Swimming Association, which has been an organization for some time and has recently celebrated more than 50. Hello, Billy. We're going to restart the session. My name is Ned Denison. I'm the chairperson of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. My guest today is Billy Wallace, who's been heavily involved with the Irish Long Distance Swimming Association for quite a long time. Billy, will you say hello to everybody, please?
Hello, everybody. A very good afternoon to you. I hope it's dry where everybody is. It's quite wet here this morning. So I hope everybody...
Billy,
Yes, go
Sorry
ahead.
about that. When the Irish Long Distance Swimming Association started, it took its lead from the British Long Distance Swimming Organization. And at the time, there had been about 2 people to cross the North Channel, and there had been 2 people from Ireland that had crossed the English Channel, so very early days. I wonder if you can give us a sense of what it was in the early 70s, 1970s when you joined, and talk a little bit about Jack Mcclelland, who internationally is probably a forgotten swimmer, but dear to our hearts in Ireland.
Right, certainly, yes. Well, as I say, the ILDSA was founded in October 1966 by a very small group of open water enthusiasts in Belfast. And as you said, they based their constitution on that of the British long distance, and mutual affiliation was agreed. Between 1967 and 1970, a number of events were held, a few in Northern Ireland and some very great events down in the south of Ireland, like Dublin Bay, Galway Bay, 15-mile swim up the Shannon Estuary, Burtonport Tennis Free, and others. I actually joined the ILDSA in 1971, and I spent that year and the following year trying to get used to swimming in cold water. At the AGM in 1972, I was elected treasurer and served in that office for 6 years until 1978, when I was elected secretary and served in that office for the next 26 years. And again at the AGM in 2004, I was elected president and served in this office up until this year, 48 years and counting. And that's briefly some information about the start of the ILDSA and myself. Now, you want to know something about Jack Mcclelland?
Yeah, Jack Mcclelland is probably the most interesting character in Irish swimming ever, and outside of Ireland, I'm not sure a lot of people remember him. But please pay some honor to his memory, if you would, please. Right.
Well, Jack Mcclelland was president of the ILDSA from 1979 to 1984, and again from 1986 and 87. As most of us know, Jack was a pioneer of long-distance swimming, and he actually won the Billy Butlin's English Channel race, although I believe it couldn't take place across the channel because of the conditions. So it was held in Dover Harbour, which is quite big. So most of the swimmers were swimming back and forward across the harbour, but eventually, one by one, they dropped out and got out of the water. So Jack apparently was the only swimmer left in the water, and he was deemed to be the winner. He was also, a lot of people don't know, he was a wrestler, a footballer, an animal rights activist, and a businessman. And he was also a pioneer in healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle, which was not yet in vogue, as much in vogue as it was today. And he owned 3 health food shops, 2 in Belfast and 1 in Ballymena. where he sold health foods, supplements, vitamins, and all kinds of natural foods. So in 1979, one of the things that Jack really did for the association, 1979, the Isle of Man Parliament were celebrating their millennium, and it just coincided with the Northern Bank here opening their first branch on the Isle of Man. So Jack suggested that we should commemorate the occasion with a relay swim from Ireland to bring greetings to the Manx Parliament. So the Northern Bank provided some sponsorship, and a 12-strong team swam from Portavogie to Peel in the Isle of Man in 20 hours 46 minutes. They were met by local councillors and were taken to a civic reception. So that was all Jack's enthusiasm did that. And Jack lived with his wife Betty in a large house underneath Blackhead Lighthouse, close to the water's edge. And he was with us for quite a number of years, and he was quite a figure, and he's certainly well remembered these days.
Billy, you also had another giant in the sport named Ted Keenan. Along with Kevin Murphy. Kevin Murphy, I believe, are the only two ever to complete the original Triple Crown, which was North Channel, English Channel, and Bristol Channel. Tell us a little bit about Ted.
That's correct. Ted, yes, I knew Ted. And very nice, easygoing man. And no doubt about it, he was another pioneer of open water distance swimming. And he's well highlighted in his local council offices and leisure centre in County Fermanagh, where he came from, Enniskillen. But he's a very well-known figure, and they say he has swam Donegal Bay, Tory Island to Donegal, and quite a few others. And probably he'd be remembered for his Triple Crowns, you say, the English Channel, the North Channel, and the Bristol Channel. So Ted was quite a local hero as well, you know.
Let me bring you to the next phase of the ILDSA, if you will. We have a local Marathon Hall of Fame in Ireland, and certainly both Jack Mcclelland and Ted Keenan are in that Hall of Fame. But interestingly, we also have a brother and a sister, Conor Gunn and Grania Gunn at the time. Conor still remains the fastest ever from Ireland across the English Channel.
Yes,
they seem to dominate the sport for about a 10-year period. Tell us a little bit about the Gunn family.
Well, I was very, very close, as quite a few other people were, to the Gunns for quite a few years, and I still keep in touch with them. Grania and her mum and dad, Joe and Philippa, they moved to New Zealand some years ago. Conor still works and lives in London. But yes, they were very much involved in the sport, and I think they came into the Irish long distance in around 1981 after they had finished. They were great indoor competitive swimmers, and they made the transition to open water very, very successfully. And Grania and Conor have both swam the English Channel. The 17-kilometre Loch Earn Championship, they each have won their category quite a number of times, and swam quite a lot of open water events, most open water events certainly here, and they've done very well indeed in open water swimming, and both very nice people. Grania has also swam the Cook Straits in New Zealand, and Mum and Dad, Joe and Philippa, they've been so great supporters, not only with the ILDSA but with swimming in general, indoor swimming, and they were served as treasurer and president, and they supported Grania and Connor in everything they did. So a very, very nice family indeed, and I still keep in touch with them.
Some of the growth of open water swimming was stunted for a few years. The legacy of the violence and the troubles in the north. Over the last 10 years, Billy, what surprised you the most about the growth of the sport?
It actually was a surprise because it was a very slow growth for quite a number of years. At one point, it was a very little-known sport, but it seemed to come very slowly, just in ones and twos, and gradually it built up. But in the last 10 years, it has really, really grown, and I think it's safe to say that open water swimming now is one of the fastest growing and most popular sports there is. Not from the competitive side of open water swimming, there has also blossomed another form of non-competitive open water swimming, which I believe is called wild swimming. People just want to swim in open water, not to race, but just to enjoy the experience of the cold water and the scenery surrounding them. So I think that, and also triathlons might have had a little something to do with that as well. So at the moment it has grown, as you probably know yourself, has grown tremendously, not only in Ireland but all over the world, which is surprising that that should happen. There's not many countries that don't have an open water distance community. So it just seems to have caught on and has escalated over the last 10 years, which is great to see for a sport that has received really very little recognition, over the years. So I certainly am very pleased about that.
So for the listeners out there, and if you're in the management of a sport in a country somewhere, and you're kind of looking for the next things, Billy and the ILDSA have been at the forefront of several things in Ireland, which have really poured some gasoline on this growth. And let me just give you a list of these. The first thing is that we now have a community of not only English Channel swimmers from Ireland, but those same swimmers are swimming all over the world, and they're connected loosely together as a kind of a group. The second thing is that Steve Munatonis, who's also on this call, but we can't hear him, by putting together Ocean Sevens and naming the North Channel, that has gone from, I think, about 8 swimmers having done it 15 years ago to nearly 60 today. So there's been an explosion in the North Channel. The Irish Long Distance Swimming Association commissioned some absolutely stunning medals from both the English Channel and the North Channel. And those medals for the English Channel, they go to anybody who's training in Ireland and the Irish diaspora around the world. And they're absolutely stunning medals. ILDSA also organizes an annual awards dinner. This year we had just over 100 people. I think there must have been 83 awards. My hands were on fire by the end of it from applauding. People came from all over the world to pick up North Channel medals, for example, and those awards included the best youngest county swimmer from Munster, the best newcomer, the best comeback swimmer. There was really just a huge number of those. And then finally, I mentioned before, we have an Ireland Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. Not everyone is going to get into the International Swimming Hall of Fame, but we had 6 people join our Ireland Hall of Fame this year. They all came to the event, and for the first time, we had an honorary crew member, Imelda Lynch, who not only has swum the English Channel, but she's also probably crewed 8 times for people across the English Channel. And then finally, the latest project for the ILDSA is to keep a online record of all of the marathon swims done in Ireland, not only going forward, but trying to look back again. Billy, you're almost coming to your 50th anniversary. Where do you see the sport going in 10 years?
There's plenty of water covering the planet. I would like to see, the sport continue to grow with many more people coming into the sport. Hopefully, not all of them, when they have a trial swim in cold water, will want to do it again, but certainly from experience, a number of people will, like myself, get the bug, and just hopefully there'll be more and more people coming into the sport, and it'll grow and grow, and I just hope that the pollution and global warming, and not to mention this accursed COVID-19 virus, which has put a bit of a break on everybody. But no, I think there's still an enormous amount of scope for open water swimming to grow. And yes, the North Channel, as I say, is an example of how that has grown over the years. I think after Tom Blower did it, and people were a bit wary of trying it, because it has been said that the North Channel, that Tom was swimming in the North Channel, actually killed him a short time later, but who knows. But then Kevin Murphy came and did it a few times, and Allison, and it was proved that it wasn't the killer swim everybody thought it was. So ever since then, there's been more and more people from all over Ireland and all over the world coming here to try the North Channel. So yes, we have as you mentioned, an annual awards dinner, and medals, and we present lovely certificates to the successful swimmers, and to recognize a lot of other categories of swimmers. We have quite a few different categories. You say the best first swimmer of the year, and disabled swimmers, and swimmers of a certain age. It's really grown from what I used to know of it, in the early days. So fingers crossed that we'll go from strength to strength.
Well, Billy, we're going to sign off now. I just want to say that in addition to the Irish Long Distance Swimming Association being an honor organization, you're also an honor administrator in the Hall of Fame. Our sport has been served very well by folks like you, who have hung in there for nearly 50 years to steward the sport to this current position, and we all are very thankful for your time and efforts. Thank you very much.
Very nice. say so, Ted, or Ned. Could I just say before you go that, yes, I've hung on there, but I actually, the way I got started in long-distance swimming, I was finishing a life-saving course at the time. And at the end of the course, before we went home, the teacher said, now you've all been training in a nice indoor heated pool, but most accidents happen in open cold water, so I want you to feel what it's like to swim in cold water. So I've volunteered you and you to do a little swim next weekend, which was the Strangford Narrows, the very narrow gap at the mouth of Strangford Loch, which is one of the fastest tides in the British Isles, you know, when the tide starts to run. So I was volunteered to do that. So once I get in, and the experience was unpleasant.
Thanks again, Billy. We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you very much, Ted. Could I thank you for your invitation to take part in this interview, and the best of luck to you and everybody else there who's listening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.